All right, today we're going to dive into one of the most curious roles in all of sports, the Nightwatchman. And this is a story that kicks off on a cricket field right as the sun is setting, but it ends up somewhere you'd probably never expect, in the pages of a really celebrated literary journal. Fighting the ghosts and the demons inside my head. Wow, that line, from a poem in the very journal we're talking about, it just perfectly nails the lonely, high-stakes battle of this solitary figure sent out to face the music. So who is this person?
I mean, just the name itself, right? Nightwatchman. It kind of makes you think of a guardian, someone protecting everyone else from the darkness. And you know what? In the world of cricket, that's not too far off.
To really get the journal, first, we have to get the player. Because the role of the Nightwatchman is one of the weirdest, most fascinating tactics in all of sports. Seriously, it's a move that, on the surface, makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so here's the official breakdown. Picture this. It's the end of a long, grueling day of cricket. One of your best players just got out, the light's fading, the other team is fired up, and you're in a really tough spot. So instead of sending in your next star player, you send out this other guy, a less skilled player, the Nightwatchman. Just think about that contrast for a second. Your star batsman is this prized asset. Their job is to go out there and score runs. The Nightwatchman's job? It's completely negative. It's just survive, don't get out, last until the end of the day. Their value isn't in what they can do, but in the fact that they're expendable. And this quote from John Houghton, one of the journal's editors, just hits the nail on the head. It's a sacrificial act. It's a brutal piece of strategy, really. The very moment you get sent in as the Nightwatchman, your captain is telling you and everyone else that you are less valuable than the player you're protecting. It's pretty stark when you think about it. So we've got the what of the role, but what about the how? What does it actually feel like to be that person? Because beyond the tactics, there's this huge psychological game being played. The pressure is just immense, and it's all built on a negative. You know, it reminds me of that classic thought experiment. If I tell you right now, don't think of an elephant, what's the very first thing you do? You think of an elephant, right? Well, that's the Nightwatchman's entire world. His one instruction is, whatever you do, don't get out. So let's just break down the pressure cooker this guy is in. First off, the moment you walk out there, you're a walking billboard that says we're in trouble. You're there to protect someone who's better than you. The other team? Oh, they're smelling blood in the water. You can't play freely. You just have to block, block, block. Your whole job is defined by not doing something. Okay, so you've got this lonely, sacrificial player on the cricket field. How in the world does that become the name and the inspiration for a literary journal? Well, it all comes down to the power of a really, really good metaphor. You can see it right here. The on-field Nightwatchman, defensive, stubborn, protecting something incredibly valuable, becomes the perfect symbol for a journal that's all about protecting a certain kind of writing. The player guarding the wicket becomes the literary guardian, protecting the written word. The journal's managing editor, Matt Thacker, he kind of lays out the mission statement for us. They wanted to build a home for amazing writing that had something to do with cricket, even if it was in the most roundabout or oblique way you could imagine. So what does that actually mean, writing around the game? Well, it means they're digging into all the stuff that happens on the fringes, the culture, the history, the weird, wonderful human stories that the box score never tells you. So you might get something like this. An incredible essay comparing the controversial English cricketer, Kevin Peterson, to the flawed Greek hero Achilles. I mean, talk about genius and ego, right? Or you could get these amazing historical deep dives, like the forgotten story of a cricketer trying to play in Nazi Germany, a story you are never, ever going to find on a stats website. And then you get something totally out of left field, like a brilliant argument for why James Joyce, yes, that James Joyce, is secretly one of the greatest cricket writers of all time. I mean, how cool is that? And you have to ask, who's writing all these incredible pieces? Well, it's not your typical sports writers. Check this out. The Nightwatchman has published priests, prime ministers, poets, players, philosophers, even paleontologists. It's just this incredible mix of voices. And they're not just publishing a few things here and there. We're talking serious volume. In just its first 5 years, the journal published 393 individual essays. That's almost 1 million words dedicated to looking at this one sport from every angle you can possibly imagine. So why does all this matter? What's the big takeaway here? Because this is about so much more than just cricket. It's about the power you can find when you decide to look at something from the side, instead of head-on. This is really the heart of it all. Just like that player on the field stands guard to protect a valuable teammate from a fiery attack, the journal, the Nightwatchman, stands guard to protect something just as valuable in our world today. Deep, nuanced, long-form storytelling in an age of non-stop hot takes.
And that's exactly why this thing has become what its own publisher calls a must-have collectible. It offers something that's getting harder and harder to find, a chance to just slow down, to think, and to get lost in a story that's been told with real care and a totally unique perspective. So that leaves me with a question for you. The Night Watchman found this whole universe of stories by looking at the edges of a familiar sport. So think about the things you're passionate about. What amazing stories, what unexpected connections are just sitting there, waiting in the shadows, if you just decide to look at them from a totally different angle?